last 30 years in my career, the way I was trained was with the simple fact that you need to get better and better, or in other words, precise in what you do. But in the last 7 months, the world has shown us that precision by itself is not good enough. Adaptability is actually sometimes takes better over precision. And I'm very happy to talk to you for the next 15-20 minutes about how this precision is leading to the whole culture of building resilience, whether it is in our leadership or whether it is in our business. So, in times like this, the forums like this play a very, very important role because nobody has all the perfect answers. We just share our perspectives, learn from all of you, and that's how we will continue to evolve. I still remember the day the first lockdown was announced. The next day, I was addressing a 100 people team who work along with me, and questions on everybody on top of the mind was, what are we going to do from tomorrow? The one answer that I gave them will surprise all of you, and my answer was, I do not know, because no training, no education, no experience ever trained us for the situation that we were into, because the one thing that was really facing on in front of us was uncertainty. So hence, I think this learning and sharing is very important. Let's start with simply looking at what's happened over the last 7 months. We were all trained for making BCP plans, business continuity plans, but those plans were made just in case 20%, 30% of a business changes or some unforeseen situation happens. A power cut happens for 8 hours, 10 hours, and then we resume back. But now we are talking about a BCP plan which already has been in the working, or we're working along with it for the last 7 months, and we don't know when we are going to go back to normal, or maybe we'll never go back to normal. One of the best examples of BCP planning that I have seen is what has come from the Indian IT community. We all speak about our heroes and our healthcare workers, but what our IT community has done has not been anything less than that. So I think what you've already done is the first level of adaptability, where overnight people worked together and made sure that our lights were really on. I think the next big thing that we have to really look at is that how is the consumer demand change? Now, this is certainly not been even. On one side, we've looked at certain industries, unfortunately, like travel and tourism, is likely to see a couple of $1 billion of loss in terms of their revenue. On the other hand side, e-commerce companies and even platforms like Netflix are seeing 60+% growth. From a Cisco parlance, the WebEx platform that I'm speaking to you about has seen a 4.5x growth from February till now. Now, none of us were prepared for anything like this, but then it always needs a willpower to do things with the technology backing to make sure that we cater to this various demand which is really coming out. I think the next big thing which has got impacted was the global supply chain, and I think we all realize that world is so well connected, and one part of the world gets impacted. It's very very natural that our supply in many other parts of the world get impacted. I think it took the world 3-4 months to come out with a better strategy around it, and I think we are now almost getting to 70-80% business as normal when it comes to the global supply chain. I think the big thing that has really hit us is the liquidity crunch and the lending challenges. Let's start with people like you and me. I think we all will realize that we are all spending our money and time and energy on essentials, and luxury is taking a backseat. This is really how the landscape is, and I'm sure each one of the news channels that you've been watching over the last 7 months speaks about these things to the death. So I will leave this here and I will move to how do we learn from here and how do we do these things differently. I think three big things. It's very sad that we have now reached a situation where one human being doesn't trust another human being. So there is a trust deficit. In other words, we are shifting to new behaviors, because earlier we used to hug each other, we used to be close to each other, but COVID has taught us is that we need to do even these celebrations from a distance. And when we apply the technology lens, it basically means that can we do everything that we are doing without getting in physical contact with any human being? and that's where technology is really coming into a big way. On a conscious note, remind everybody that all this needs investment, when and which has been unbudgeted for. And one good example I'll take from another customer of ours, which is Bangalore Airport, the city where I stay in. I mean, they would have never imagined that from the check-in process and to the gates that they have to when we board, everything had to be turned contactless the moment flights opened up. So obviously everybody had to use technology, but more importantly, the message that I have for all of you, we need to divest, because we need to stop spending somewhere and then only we'll get the money to spend on technology, and most importantly retraining of our entire human capital, because even they have to get used to this new normal, and that's why divest and reinvest is the way to go. The next big thing that we are seeing is everybody is talking about digital. I think my best example of this is IPL itself, which is so well watched by crores of Indians. I think we would have never imagined that a big sport like IPL will go digital, and phenomenal job done by all the organizers in making sure that they started a couple of minutes late. But I think now when I watch TV every single day, I don't feel the difference. And where again technology has got into picture, because the fans are being beamed into the stadium. Now, Mafik, we could have never imagined that that will be a situation where the fans are sitting at home and some of them who win some lucky prizes get beamed to the stadium and their faces are shown there. And if you all have watched, the look and feel of the stadium has completely changed. The one big thing this has taught us is that nobody can do this alone. And I think we have to reorient our mindset in a way that we have to look at some of our competitors also as partners, right? One good example of this is what Uber has done along with Big Basket, where they could have never thought earlier that there will be a synergy between both of them. But when the demand on all the online platforms gone so much, they looked at taxis which were not getting frequently used because people were still not traveling outside, how they both came forward and forged the relationship to make sure that the products reach the end customers in a record possible time, which leads to customer satisfaction. And you look around, you will find hundreds and hundreds of examples of how new partnerships have come together. And the way I think every business has to reimagine itself is that I have a product or a service to sell, whom else I can partner with to make sure that my product or service reaches the fastest possible way and my customer is more satisfied. So the message that I wanted to leave here is that technology can play a big role in this new normal, and we have to just change our mindset to say that there is no competitor, everybody can be a collaborator. And how do we really leverage, and the sense in all this is speed and velocity that we need to show in changing and doing things differently. So, as Winston Churchill said, that every crisis teaches us few things. These are some of the learnings that I'm sharing from the Cisco's experience and from my own personal experience. It is first all about reimagining your business. I'll take a small example here. We have 16,000 employees of Cisco in our campus in Bangalore, and we actually formed a small task force probably 1 month after the entire problem started to say, can we just reimagining when things open up, how will we show up to office, how we will make sure that our employees will be safer, and how do we give that same wonderful experience that they are getting today when they are working from home. And by the way, 99% of our employees today are working from home, and our productivity levels are absolutely same. We made sure that we have retrained them and did few things, but that's the project that we really started. And there were three big pillars of this project. Number one, what do we need to do differently on the people side? Because people have to be retrained, managers have to be retrained onto how they really work remotely along with your team. The second big leg of this is how do we reimagine your IT? And earlier we had always assumed that look, our employees will be based out of a single location, but we realized 2 months into the pandemic that 20% of them have gone to their hometown. So our IT has to completely change itself to actually go and revisit and realign with this whole new landscape, which we had never imagined. I think all this you can only do if you optimize your cost, because you have to divest somewhere to invest. I already spoke about it. And hence, you need to finally zero down on what is important to you. And I will remind all our leaders here that what was important to you 7 months back, not everything is important right now. For example, we work with four different technologies and we realize that collaboration and security are two technologies that customers really want to adapt. So we have to very, very quickly realign ourselves. We have to augment our technology there, we have to augment our people there, and we have to also augment the training that we provide into the people. So understand that the important points which come on to me where technology can really make a huge difference. First, it's all about connectivity. You can have the best applications, but if the end mile connectivity to the millions of workers who are working from home, and 5G plays a big, big role there. If that last mile connectivity is not good, we'll never be able to recognize any one of these technologies. Secondly, we have seen how technology has enabled even board meetings, which never happened before virtually, are all happening virtually. Analytics is playing a huge role. Understanding your customer based on the buying past history and actually giving them the right solution on their screen, the moment, and everything touchless, the moment when they show up. Revenue obviously will change. You will realize, and many of you understand the revenue profiles of various companies who declare their results. The increase in revenue is coming from very, very different products and services which they never imagined. And I think lastly, it's all about talent. All of this will fail while we have a situation where most of our talent is today, at least in the IT space, is working from home and they are right now connected, but there is a fatigue which is really setting in. So we need to set the right retraining for them, reskill will be my message around to that. And the biggest reskilling we need to do is that how does everybody work virtually and still gets connected, but still we cannot lose the culture of the company, which is what defines every single company that you work for. In the last few minutes, I just want to touch upon some of the learnings that we have from the Cisco's deployment of IT. I think first thing which comes out is that every single IT architecture has to be resilient. It should be able to with demand a 10% load to 120% load. When we originally designed the networks and infrastructure for our customers, the usual rule of thumb was that 60% of the team will be working in office and 40% will be traveling out. Today, it has reversed to even 10 and 90. Some of the organizations have made public announcement that even when they come back to office, only 25% of the teams will come back to office and the others will be very, very, very widely spread. Now, I just wanted to share with you this live case study out of Cisco. This is the map that I took a snapshot of 2 weeks back. Out of the 16,000 employees that we hired in Bangalore, and the contract was to work in Bangalore, but thanks to the situation, out of 1,700 of them or 1,800 of them are working out of 280 plus towns. So suddenly overnight, we had to cater to this whole distributed demand and made sure that from laptop delivery to laptop maintenance to our entire architecture, our application support, everything should be able to cater to these employees who are very comfortably working from home. We are very proud to say that we have published this, that whatever we have learned, we are sharing it with all our customers, and we call it RDE, which is the new Resilient Distributed Enterprise Blueprint, which is around three big things. How do we make sure that millions of our teams who are working from home continue to work without any productivity issues, but very importantly, securely? How technology can be used to make sure that social distancing is maintained, how every employee is safe. For example, a simple how artificial intelligence can be used, that if you're using a video conference room, how many people were there in that room and has that room been sanitized before the other teams enter into. Third biggest trend that we are really seeing is that many of our customers have moved their more and more applications to cloud, and we need to work in an environment where you have a hybrid system, you have multi-cloud, and how do we give still the customers a complete visibility of where the workload is, how the workload is, and how do they manage their applications across so multiple workloads. So that's really how technology can really help into making sure that businesses are scalable, they are resilient, but very importantly, they are continue to be secure. And I'll sum it up my personal learnings in this last slide. I think first of all, be vulnerable. As I said, the day one, I told my team that I don't know what we will do. The only guidance I gave it to them, let's each one of us talk to at least 10 of our customers every day and ask them only two questions. What is change in your business and how can we help them? Based on that learning, we put our first BCP architecture, which we actually then helped 2000 of our customers to roll out. We got to unlearn the old ways of doing things, and then only we will learn how the new ways of doing things. I attended a training program a couple of years back, and one of the techniques that the trainer taught us was that if you have to think innovatively, think about a subtraction technique. I think what is stopping us all is that we are sometimes afraid to disrupt. I've shared with you many examples how disruptions have added a new business line. And lastly, we cannot work alone into this. We need to learn this together. We need to collaborate sometimes with our competition for a particular thing. I think time is, we are just think about what is my shortest time to go to the market and whom I can collaborate to reach there and still have a very big differentiation. Those are some of my personal learnings. Again, it was wonderful speaking to you. Have a good day. Thank you very much.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.